Rain and thunderstorms rolling through the 4 states. Meteorologist Nick Kelly will have an update. Today is National Seed Swapping Day. We'll take you to the Empire Market, an event in Joplin geared towards helping the homeless during the pandemic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thunderstorms rolling through the area today, resulting in several tornado warnings late this afternoon. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Chris Warner. Meteorologist Nick Kelly joins us now with a breakdown of some of the just crazy activity we saw.
I know we had a number of tornado warnings this afternoon, Chris, but thankfully nothing touching down in our immediate area, which is a darn good thing, knock on wood. But those storms did have a little bit of a helicity or wind shear to allow them to rotate. That's why we had those tornado warnings pop up, mainly with the storms across northeastern Oklahoma and areas south of I-44 and southwestern Missouri. Right now, though, we're just back down to some scattered showers across the region as we begin the evening hours out. All part of a bigger storm system, though, that with colder air near the Great Lakes in Chicago, that's quite a winter storm event for them, where they could see 4 to 8 inches of snow, especially around the Chicago area. But around here, we're calming things down. We're seeing temperatures drop back into the upper 40s to about the lower 50s across much of the region. And we're set for a cold night while we don't have any more thunderstorms to worry about tonight, thankfully. This system will still be around, so we'll have to watch for some areas of drizzle overnight. Otherwise, we're cloudy, and eventually we'll be cold with lows around 34. We'll break things down, including the forecast for tomorrow and what these storms today exactly did for us, coming up in a bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. And take a look at this video from our affiliate KOTV in Tulsa, taken by one of their storm chasers near South Coffeyville, Oklahoma, around 2 this afternoon. Now, this video shows what appears to be a brief tornado touchdown. There were no reports of damage or what the severity of the tornado was. Well, today is National Seed Swapping Day, and in Joplin, one local event is trying to show residents that anyone can learn to grow their own food. The community seed swap is meant as a way for people who have way too many seeds on their hands to swap with others. Well, Cheryl Franklin, who organized the event, says she hopes this event will inspire newcomers to consider growing their own crops.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to grow your own food and harvest your own food, and it's so much more healthy for you when you can go out and pick it from your own backyard and it didn't travel 1,000 miles.
Now, newcomers without seeds to share, were asked to give an optional small donation and give instructions along with their new seeds. Earlier today at Ewart Park in Joplin, volunteers set up a lunch and free shop for anyone in the community hit hard by the pandemic, especially the homeless population. One volunteer says it started with masks and then grew based on the community's needs.
Back when COVID hit and there was a shortage of masks for everybody, and Karen started homemaking masks. We went around and got supplies donated, and then distributed the masks. In the process of doing that, we noticed more of a need in the community for other things like clothing and food, and we're just trying to fill that need now.
The volunteers offered free grilled cheese and tomato soup, as well as gloves, coats, and other essentials for anyone in need. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued new rules that make refusing to wear a mask on public transportation, including planes, trains, and buses, a violation of federal law. And a more contagious strain of COVID-19 has now been found in a second state. CBS News correspondent Michael George has the latest from New York.
Under the new CDC rules, passengers on airplanes, trains, subways, buses, ride shares, and even ships will have to wear face masks starting next week. The mandate, issued late Friday, follows an executive order President Biden announced the day after his inauguration, as he urged everyone to mask up for 100 days.
If we do this as Americans, the experts say by wearing a mask from now until April, we'd save more than 50,000 lives.
The CDC says masks on transportation must cover the mouth and nose, and the rule forbids makeshift masks such as scarves and bandanas.
I don't see a big problem because it's been in place already. Every plane you've been on for the past 6 weeks, they must tell you 10 times, keep your mask on, make sure you're wearing it properly.
The move comes with the appearance of new and more contagious COVID variants, first seen in the UK, Brazil, and South Africa. On Saturday, Maryland became the second state to announce it's detected the highly transmissible variant from South Africa. South Carolina announced 2 cases this week. Experts say the new strains make ramping up the nationwide vaccination effort even more urgent.
Getting protection from any of the vaccines is very important.
I want to be part of the herd immunity.
This weekend, thousands of seniors are heading to a mass drive-through vaccination event at Coors Field in Denver. Michael George, CBS News.
The CDC masks order takes effect just before midnight on Monday night. It will be enforced by the Transportation Security Administration and other federal, state, and local authorities. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes, Specialist Paul Cupp Sr. Pittsburgh native, served in Vietnam from 1969 to 70, and we are proud to recognize Specialist Paul Cupp Sr., tonight's four-state hero. And that's a look at today's top stories and a quick check of your forecast on the KOAM News at 6. Still ahead, we'll take a look at this week's top medical headlines. And the World Health Organization is in its second full day investigating the origins of the coronavirus. On their second full day of work on Saturday, members of a World Health Organization team investigating the origins of the coronavirus pandemic visited an exhibition in Wuhan dedicated to the early history of COVID-19. The exhibit features a giant diorama celebrating frontline workers as well as tributes to volunteers who came from across China to join Wuhan's fight against COVID-19, according to state media. It's hosted in an exhibition hall that last year served as a makeshift hospital. Now, also today, the team visited Wuhan Jinyintin Hospital, one of the city's first to deal with patients in early 2020 suffering from a then unknown virus. The team's first face-to-face meetings with Chinese scientists took place on Friday before the experts who specialize in animal health, virology, and food safety and epidemiology visited another early site of the outbreak, the Hubei Integrated Chinese and Western Medicine Hospital. The Geneva-based World Health Organization said late on Thursday on Twitter that its team plans to visit hospitals, markets like the Hunan Seafood Market linked to many of the first cases, and the Wuhan Institute of Virology and laboratories at facilities like the Wuhan Center for Disease Control. Portugal's hospital system was under severe pressure today as the country faces one of the world's worst surges in COVID-19 cases and deaths per capita. The health ministry reported 13,200 infections and 278 deaths on Friday, down from Thursday's record levels. But it registered a new peak of 806 people in intensive care, leaving just 44 beds vacant in the mainland's public health system. At Lisbon's largest hospital, Santa Maria, triage testing was taking place on Saturday outside the facility while ambulances were diverted to other hospitals. It contrasted with the dozens of ambulances that had queued for hours over the past few days. The government has extended a nationwide lockdown until mid-February, banned non-essential travel for its nationals, and imposed checks on the border with Spain. Lisbon streets were largely empty on Saturday morning, with all but essential workers confined to their homes. And we're learning more about the coronavirus how it impacts minority communities and new data on pregnant women and COVID. Michael George has some of the week's top health stories.
A new study finds pregnant women with serious coronavirus symptoms are at greater risk of dying than non-pregnant women with the same symptoms. They also found severe illness leads to more serious complications for pregnant women. But mild coronavirus in pregnant women did not mean a greater risk for complications. A UK study finds people with Black and Asian backgrounds are much more likely to die from COVID. The report, published in the British Medical Journal, is one of the largest studies yet on how the virus affects minority populations. Asian patients were 1.5 times more likely to die from the virus compared to white patients, and Black patients were 1.3 times more likely. And that afternoon snooze might be good for your brain. A study in the online journal General Psychiatry shows that participants who take naps score significantly higher on cognitive performance tests. Researchers say those people have better location awareness, verbal fluency, and working memory. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A little later on the KOAM News at 6, how community is coming together for a veteran who lost everything.
This was quite an interesting Saturday. Despite all the clouds, the rain, and the thunderstorms, we did at least see temperatures rebound as we continued on through the rest of the day. We only dropped back, however, into the, well, let's say the upper 40s this morning. But we did bump back into the mid-50s this afternoon, but 54 was the best we could do, as again, we saw, as advertised, a lot of cloud cover in place, not to mention, as Doug advertised last night, widespread rain across the area. And when we had a good storm system pass on through, we actually had enough low-level helicity or spin in the atmosphere to get these isolated thunderstorms across northeast Oklahoma starting at 1 o'clock to rotate. That's why we had quite a bit of tornado warnings, which led to a few quick touchdowns just on the fringe of our viewing area across Bartlesville, Washington, and the Wada counties. Then as we continue to track along the Kansas-Oklahoma state line, we just got more reports of dime-the-quarter size hail out of these thunderstorms as they pushed on through. In general, what everybody saw from the rain and thunderstorms was a lot of rain. Area-wide averages of an inch of rain, but along Kansas 99, the Kansas-Oklahoma line back to Fort Scott and Nevada, pushing over 1, if not 2 inches of rain. But where we still had quite a bit of rain from earlier, and a little bit more rain on the way, central parts of Berry County, that's a flash flood warning until Sunday at 1 a.m. But just in general, we did have some reports of minor street flooding across parts of the area today with all the rain that pushed on through. So keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about for tonight. But at least we're not dealing with any severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. Thank goodness for that. On the radar right now, so we're backing things down to just scattered showers that'll continue throughout the evening, and then we'll just taper things off to some areas of light drizzle underneath cloudy skies for the rest of the night. 52 in Joplin. We were rocking and rolling with storms earlier, but we're drying things out a bit with mostly cloudy skies up top. Most spots right around Joplin in the lower 50s, some upper 40s popping up though already around Fredonia, Yates Center, and Iola, where you're sitting at 49 degrees. It's going to be quite a drop, even with the cloud cover still in place. We'll fall through the 50s, 40s, and eventually down into the middle to upper 30s rather, as we go into the overnight. So this is all part of a bigger storm system that is turning into a winter event for parts of the Great Lakes. In fact, from Rockford, Chicago, Indiana, Ohio, right along the southern edge of the Great Lakes, that's a good winter storm for them. With this overall complex storm system, fortunately for us, it didn't give us any snow. We had to deal with severe weather today. This upper low is going to continue to venture on. We'll get underneath this ridge to start early next week out before we see this upper low try to change things up again by the time we head toward the middle and especially the latter part of next week. So again, those thunderstorms are long gone now, but on the back edge of the storm system, we'll hold on to the clouds and maybe some areas of drizzle overnight as temperatures drop back into the mid-30s. I think the clouds hold tough for tomorrow though, and temperatures, they are going to be looking a bit warm. Forget about that planner popping up. We'll just take you right to the 7-day forecast. We'll see highs right around 40 degrees, and I think I clicked over one too many, Chris, but I have us in the mid-40s tomorrow, Monday rather, 53 Tuesday. Then we'll see our next storm system by Thursday and Friday. I apologize for that technical mishap, but we'll give everybody a good look at the 7-day when we wrap up the show later.
Sounds good. Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, Carthage Tigers hit the floor for a Saturday afternoon game against Harrisonville, plus Pitt State and Missouri Southern in action in the Wendy's Invitational. Jacob Leonard has details next.
The Carthage Tigers are on the floor today for a rare Saturday afternoon game. The Tigers hit the floor this afternoon, hosting the Harrisonville Wildcats. Carthage aims to bounce back after a 10-point loss to Nevada last night. Early on, Justin Ray knocking down the three. He had 6 threes in the game, team high 25 points. Here he is again in the second, 2 more there. Then Max Templeman from the far side. Tigers take the lead after 2. Look at the behind the back pass though. Connor Blixt to Kennedy Atkinson. Carthage responds with some flair from Templeman. Then into the fourth, Brooks Langer. He had 14 points in the final quarter alone. That'll put Carthage away. Harrisonville wins a tight one, 72-67. The Pittsburg State Gorillas hit the road tonight to face Rogers State. On the women's side, the Gorillas try for back-to-back wins after topping Northeastern State on Thursday. Now, Tristan Gegg was a monster in this one. She scores a career-high 32, while Kaylee Demitz adds 26. Gorillas top the Hillcats 92-81. The Pitt State men able to make it a sweep, winning their game 86-75. Missouri Southern also in action today at Northeastern State. Another big double-double for Maddie Stokes, 20 points, 18 rebounds. Lions finish at 68-61. As for the Southern men, they make it 3 straight wins, topping the Riverhawks 100-83. 31 points for Cam Martin. Lawson Jenkins adds 29. Division I now, Oklahoma, trying for its 4th win against the top 10 team this month. Alex Reese flies in for the jam. Sooners down 4 early. Second half, here comes OU. Jalen Hill, dunk of his own. Sooners now with a 3-point lead. Under 20 seconds to go. Oklahoma lead just 2. Elijah Harkless. Check it out. Nice move. Turnaround jumper goes. Oklahoma takes down 9th-ranked Alabama 66-61. Another top 25 matchup going down right here. KU facing the Tennessee Volunteers. This one actually still going right now with the Jayhawks down 40-26 at halftime. Pittsburgh State Track and Field hosts the Wendy's MIAA Challenge today. 8 teams in the conference showed up to compete this afternoon. Pitt State and Missouri Southern dominate events early. Men's weight throw here. Southern's Peyton Barton gets a PR, 63 feet 6 inches to win it. Pitt State's Connor Swinson finishes second. To the high jump, this dude, a freshman. Pitt State's Tim Johnson, 6 feet 7 inches. That'll win it today for Johnson. The women's long jump here, final jump for Pitt State's AJ Anderson, 18 feet 4 inches. Her best of the day to finish second. But Missouri Southern's Claire Llewellyn, 5.62 meters, 18 feet 5 inches. That gets her first place in the long jump. It wasn't the only win for Llewellyn. She wins the 60-meter hurdles with an NCAA qualifying time of 8.68 seconds. Men's pole vault here, he's a junior, Cameron Wright. Last one standing, he clears 16 feet, 10.75 inches, the 3rd best mark in the nation. This event is still going. They'll wrap it up with relays around 8 o'clock this evening. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Coming up tonight at 10, we'll have more on the event aimed at helping the homeless during the pandemic. Plus, we'll take you to a memorial rodeo in Carthage. And it's National Seed Swapping Day. We'll tell you how the Empire Market in Joplin took part. Those stories and much more coming your way tonight at 10. Well, the VFW in Bernice, Oklahoma on Grand Lake says it's giving a mobile home to a 62-year-old veteran who lost everything in a fire. Ashland Brothers from our sister station in Tulsa has the story.
I spoke with Keith Kastner, who's a disabled veteran. He tells me he was shocked when the VFW called to tell him they found him a new home. Keith Kastner is a Marine Corps veteran who says his house in Mounds was destroyed by a fire last January, and he's been picking up the pieces ever since.
What else can I do? Gotta rebuild.
Kastner's been living in a shack, showering at his neighbors, and getting creative with how he cooks and cleans.
I've been struggling. It's all right, though. It's nice. It's better than living under a bridge.
Danny Chronister is donating 2 double-wide trailers to the VFW in Bernice, and he wants one to go to Kastner.
I know my dad is pretty ecstatic, too. He's 94, still alive, and this was his trailer, and he served in World War II, so to get it to go to a veteran that's in need is very good.
The VFW in Bernice and Grove say it'll cost $5,000 to move the mobile home to Mounds, and they only have 10 days to raise the money because there are plans for the land the mobile home is sitting on.
We've had a maximum of 4 people out here at any given time to take the roofs off, to strip decks off, to come around and pick up all the debris.
Commander Danny Medley is calling on the community to make a donation on the VFW Department of Oklahoma's website and help a man who fought for our freedom.
And it's all been about helping everybody else, not themselves. So now it's our turn to turn around and try to give back.
Kastner says he's waited a year. He can wait a little longer.
That's a new start. That's cool. That's so awesome. Yeah. That double wide. Is it double wide? Is it double wide? Man, I can't believe that. That's awesome.
Nick Kelly joining us with a quick check of the final weather here.
With a better look at the 7th day this time around. A little bit of shower activity late tonight, maybe a little bit of drizzle in the morning, but 40 tomorrow, 44 Monday, into the 50s Tuesday, Wednesday. We're dry Monday through Wednesday, Chris, before we see rain and snow chances even back here by Thursday and Friday.
I think I'm ready to dry out. I think everybody's ready to dry out.
Amen to that.
Nick, thank you so much. That's our time for now. Our next news time is at 9 over on Fox 14, and we'll see you back here on KOAM at 10. Have a good night.